Alright, welcome everybody. My name is Vex. We are going to be teaching you how to use Zeus. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how Zeus is set up and how we can make our own missions to try out the things we want to try in-game without having to do a whole lot with the editor. So first off, we're going to go to the editor. You can either click on here or you can go to single player editor. We're going to do this on Altus. Pick any map you want, doesn't matter. Alright, now that we're in, we're going to go ahead and just go over to the salt flats because it's the easiest spot without having to do a whole lot. In order to test out your own missions, what you want to do is place down any unit of your choosing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Just a unit that you can play. Make sure it's set to be playable or a player. One of the two, doesn't matter. The other thing you want to do is make sure that the variable name is set to something. I do P1 for player 1. Just makes my life easier for remembering what I'm going to name my user. The reason we want to remember why we're going to name the character we're going to play as is because we need to go to the systems, or F5, go down to Zeus, and place down a game master icon on the map. Doesn't matter where it is. It could be over here. It could be over here. It could be on the other side of the map. I recommend keeping it near the player that you're going to link this to. Because we named this P1, and you can see on the name when I hover over the user or the unit, it says P1, Rifleman P1. We're going to double click on this and open it up. Instead of putting it up here, we're going to put in the owner. So the owner is going to be P1. This is basically saying, okay, the unit that owns this module, the Zeus module, is P1. Okay, cool. Now that that's done, that's all we need to do. You click play and click multiplayer. I'm going to go into a real server and show you guys how to do Zeusing in a normal server setting. So I'm up here, slotted in as whatever slot I want to, doesn't matter. I'm kind of, we're not gonna get into it, but I'm a Zeus. I'm in Zeus. I can hit my Y key. I can open up Zeus. It's gonna freeze for a minute because that's what happens. The reason that happens is because you double render the game when you're in Zeus. You render everything you've got, and then you do it again because it considers this to be a second variant of your user, I guess. When I go to the map, you can see it's not a normal map anymore. I can see all the icons. I can see all the objects on the map that are on my curator. We have a couple of scripts on this server to be able to kind of cheese this a little bit. So if all these units down here were gone, I'd be able to see them by just typing in a command, and it would pop everything up that's on the map. So we're up here, and as you can see, we've got this little camera here. You can move this camera around by being in the 3D world and just using your WASD keys and your collective up and collective down keys, wherever those might be for your helicopter or fixed wing aviation. It's the same keys. You can hold your sprint key or shift is usually what it is for me to move around a little faster, and I think that's about as fast as you can go. The higher up you go, the faster you can go. I don't know why that makes sense, but it does. That's just how it is. As you see, if I get closer I get to the ground, the slower I am. But once I get up high, I can zoom across the map. That's kind of just how that works in general. We are going to go over these later. The 7th Cav add-ons that we have, we'll go over those later. We're not going to deal with them now. The next thing is when you open your map, this camera, you can move this camera around by clicking your middle mouse button. So if I wanted to move my camera over to see what these guys are doing over here, middle mouse click and drag, and you can move your camera however you want and let go, and then you close your map, and boom, now you can see these guys they're doing their own Zeus thing, making their own missions, communicating locally however they would like to. We use Acre 2, I think is what it is. Yeah, Acre 2 on our cab servers. We don't use TFAR because nobody wants to update TFAR, and we don't want to either, so we're using Acre. The next thing would be all these icons, all these objects and things in the map. Okay, so we use Achilles in our servers. All of our servers have Achilles, except for Tactical Realism 1. It has the option to use it, but not a lot of people do, I think. Don't quote me on that. Okay, literally what? Anyway, So these icons are, depends on what it is. If it's got this, if it's blue or if it's red or whatever, as long as if it has this red ring around it, it's a player. Usually the players will have their names next to it. As you can see, this one says Dr. Weird. Thank you, Dr. Weird, for playing on our server. We appreciate you very much. But over here, if you look over here, we can see we have Curtis, Tyrcon, and Pressjack. All Zeuses. You see they've got this little red icon. Those are players. If it doesn't have the red icon, it is not a player. That's kind of a feature with Achilles, I believe. No, it's not. I think that's default Arma. I don't know anymore. I haven't really done a whole lot with vanilla Arma in a while, so I don't even remember. But as you can see, I can look across the map, and I can still see that this is Wayne. I highlight him, it'll say Wayne. And you can see it's kind of hard to see. It's because it's processing, it's displaying his name as if he was just a normal infantry unit, and then it's displaying it again because he's inside of a vehicle. That's going to happen for every player. If he were to have a gunner, it would say his name twice and then the gunner's name once. It's whoever's driving the vehicle is going to be, their name is going to pop up twice. All the names are going to stack on top of each other if they're in one vehicle, and there's really nothing you can do about it. It's just kind of the way the game is made. It's kind of annoying, but it's whatever. There are some things you cannot do to players. You cannot move them. Usually if I place down a blue 4 unit here, we'll do just a NATO unit. I can move a blue 4 AI, and you can tell they're AI because it's just a blue icon, doesn't have that red ring around it or the name. These two little icons here can be the same depending on if they have their XML added. We'll get into that later. Actually, no, we won't, because that's not a Zeus problem. That's just like a community thing. So if they're part of if they have their profile linked to an XML file or an XML group unit, I guess you would say, they will have their own personal icon up here that is on everybody. That's a part of the XML. Otherwise, it's the space blue 4 or the red 4 or green 4, whatever, civilian, doesn't matter. But as you can see, I can move this blue 4 unit around all over the place. You cannot do that with players. It'll say up here, players cannot be edited, they cannot be moved. You can change these settings all you want, and I don't know if this works. Double check it. No, it doesn't work. So the only thing that will change is the skill, health, and ammo. If you set the health to 0, it will kill them, usually. Down here, this is not in base Arma 3. This init thing here is not in base Arma 3. We will get into that into a way later video. That is some more advanced Zeus stuff. Anything that's red tabbed inside of like one of these boxes like this is Achilles. So this is not vanilla Arma 3 stuff. Skill, arsenal, things like that. The arsenal you can use on yourself. Don't think you can do it on other players. There has been bugs in the past that have prevented you from being able to do it on yourself, but you were able to do it on players, and bugs that did it vice versa, where you could do it on yourself but not other players. I'm not really sure why it does that, but it does. And as you can see, this is the base vanilla Arma 3, arsenal. This is not the Ace arsenal. This is Arma 3 arsenal. To do Ace arsenal, the only way I think you can do it, if I remember correctly, is you go through one of these. I believe it's Zeus, and then you go Arsenal. Yeah, and then you get the Ace Arsenal. So if you do it through the Zeus module at the very bottom, this is Ace Arsenal. I kind of wish it would say Ace Arsenal instead of just Arsenal. There is a difference. There's a major difference. One of them is more detailed. The other one is less detailed. One of them has, in my opinion, a better view of what you're looking at, whereas the other one is kind of cluttered and a little hard on the eyes. It's a little big, things like that. Yeah. Let's see here, what else? And I think that'll be it for this video for now, and the next one should be coming up soon.